Are going live.
Live. I don't see anything on Twitch yet, but we'll do it here.
Okay, well. What does it all mean?
I'm gonna refresh the Academy Twitch stream here because it just didn't do anything.
Yeah,
There we
yeah.
go. Yep. Yeah, we're there.
Is it good?
It sounds good too. So yay. Woo!
Okay, cool. Sweet. We are in business. Okay, so yesterday we were working on adding the graph recommender to the Killrvideo Python
Yes.
application. And funny story, I was
Uh-oh.
typing crazy crap that doesn't work, demonstrating poor driver usage. I was like, you remember I was trying to mess around at the command line here and just
Yeah.
make a connection in the browser, just as like we could maybe test out some of these graph
Yeah.
commands. So I did this, uh, specifying just to create a cluster object.
Okay.
This is the main interface to the driver, right? Get a
Okay.
cluster with the
Yep.
contact points, and then I've specified port 9042. And come to find out that you don't want to do that. So I was chatting with the driver guys. Adam was like, maybe you shouldn't put the port number on there.
Well,
And
it's
it's,
defaulted anyway, right? So.
yeah, so sure enough, that works. So I was
Oh, that's
obviously using some
cool.
wrong syntax there.
Okay.
So
Well, that's what happens when we're going at it like the first time, trying to
yeah,
figure it
exactly.
out.
I knew, and I just had the sense that it was just kind of a rookie mistake, you know. But there, that's the way it goes. So
Okay.
some days are like that. Okay, so let's see. I had some to-dos that I'm probably gonna go do at some point, but I actually did
Okay.
not bother to try to convert the Docker setup yet. So I have the same exact Docker setup I was using yesterday, which is our old
Okay.
school version that we've been using forever, where everything discovers
Yeah.
each other using etcd, and this is fine
Right.
for our
Well, for
purposes
now,
right
just to
now.
get it working. I mean, you don't
Yeah,
have to. Yeah,
I'm working on this critical path of getting graph queries working with you. So
that's right. That's right. The etcd thing is it doesn't matter. You could go either way. And
don't be dummy.
uh,
Anyway, okay, so yeah, I highlight my mistakes and errors and all that kind of stuff. So, where we were actually going to be trying to execute the graph query. Although the one thing that I remembered that I was working on yesterday that I didn't do, I actually got the. Uh, I was on a branch yesterday that was the config branch. I was actually changing configuration settings to be in a config file instead of hard coded, like all my host name
yes.
and port values and all that stuff. That was before I
Okay.
started working on this, I had been working on that. And then I realized that, oh, we just need to get this pull request merged. So Amanda did that yesterday. And so now actually I'm just going to set up a new branch for development here,
Oh, cool. Okay. Yay. Yeah, that's cleaner.
right? So I guess we will call this graph recommender. Okay, so now any work that we do on this, I'm going to be working on a new feature branch here. And if people are watching, I will try to have a practice of, like committing stuff to this branch as we go, as we work through stuff so that people can watch and they can, if they watch on Twitch, and then they can go down later and download the latest code as we're working on it, if people are interested in that.
Yeah, cool.
Okay, so
I think that's a good idea, Jeff.
thanks for the
And I like your
validation.
font size. You're doing very well.
Oh,
Yeah, no
especially
problem.
my
That's
terminal
that's what
font
I'm here for,
size.
really.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. Okay, so the thing yesterday, I feel like I was trying to emulate. I think I have it up in here. Yes, yes. Like what first, right? We were trying to like just sort of my first insert, right? Where we left things is
hmm
trying to do let's see where I put, suggested videos service. Um,
Right, just to see that the right method's being called and
Handle
it
the
does something.
user created. Yeah, yeah.
Mm-hmm. That's right. That's
So
right.
I was going to try to build out what this would look like. I think we first need a session, right?
Okay. Yeah.
So we have a
So
cluster.
great. You've established the cluster
Here, let me see if I can do
down
this.
there. You did that in the command. So help me understand. You're going to do this from the command line, not from the code. Is that what I'm seeing?
Well, I just thought,
Like the.
to try out how this works, because this to me seems like a more Python-y way of app dev is to kind of take advantage of the console to like Python console to just like test out some snippets of code and see what happens and use that as a little bit of a workbench. And then when we're satisfied with something, then I could just put it in the code.
Okay, yeah, yeah. So you're right then. Yeah, sessions next.
We'll test
you
this out. Yeah, yeah. So I think there's a couple places that I could look. I think, yeah, this particular page assumes that I already have a session object. So I'm actually going to go look at my source code here in the init file. I'm going to create my own. So yeah, this is pretty easy. I think I'll just copy this code. It should work.
Yeah, and technically you do not need you don't need to pass in the key space. As a matter of fact, with the session object, but you did anyway. I was going to say, because with the session object, it's actually recommended now to not use the key space and then just fully qualify your key spaces in your actual queries. That way you're not because here it's implying that when you do it this way that you would use a different session object for each key space, but that's not correct. You want just one session object for your app.
Oh, because of resource utilization.
Even though you're connecting Killrvideo, though, you might just be able to fully qualify anyway, if I remember right. I think you can. So either way should work.
Okay.
But
all right, so now I have a session.
Okay.
Now I have a session, so I was going to try to go approximate. Obviously, if I cut and paste this thing, if I cut and paste this command, this has nothing to do with the actual schema, but I need this, right? I need a traversal source.
Right, you need to define G. That's right.
Okay.
That's right.
And
notice the session equals DSE session.
Yep.
So when you created your session,
I called it session.
Well, yeah.
So this should work. Yep.
We'll find out.
Oh, haha.
Oh, yeah. You probably need to import that or whatever.
What do I need to import?
Oh, here, let's see. We have a question from Moran, 2012. But
thank you.
If I will only be doing work in one key space,
yeah,
you could. You could. You could. If you're only doing work in one key space, you could do that, right? Generally speaking, it's just recommended that you want to establish one session object for all of your key spaces, right? So you're right. If you had an application and you're only using one key space, you could just define it. It's not going to hurt anything. But then if you don't and you fully qualify your queries, if somehow in the future you then decided that, or your application expands and you're using more than one key space, now you're already fully qualifying, right? So yeah, one session object is the rule. Yes. And that's because if you take while Jeff is typing there, if you take a look at what the session object does, one of the things it does is provides all the connection pools to all your nodes. So if you imagine if you had like a full-on cluster, and I'm noticing my chair is hitting my screen in the back. If you had like a full-on cluster and you had connection pools established with every one of your nodes, you don't want to reestablish those with multiple session objects. So it's really about resource usage and such. Plus, those session objects, by the way, they can handle like thousands of messages, to each of the nodes. Like they're really pretty fast, actually.
Okay.
Did you find something fun, Jeff?
I'm just working on importing stuff.
Okay. And I'm responding to Moran 2012 here.
Oh, here we go.
Thank you for the question.
Oh, that's groovy. I need some Python examples.
Totally groovy, man.
Yeah, I need to get my import straight here. So, maybe I'll try this one. This is where we see my weakness in Python. This is fine.
Well, I have none in Python, so I don't have them either. Oh, are you still working on importing DC graph?
Yeah.
I see. Okay.
And it looked like the class that I needed was that DSE graph.
Okay.
Yeah, this looks like it should work. There we go.
Ah.
This is getting pretty useful here. All right, so let's see if we can get somewhere. Okay. Oops. Cut and pasted the wrong thing.
Dude, who knew the Python console? You just paste a doc in, and it will go ahead and implement everything on the doc. It's amazing.
I know, right? Oh, so nice. If only. Oh, there we go. Oh, I see what I did. DSE.graph, do you see that? It's DSE underscore graph. Come on, people.
Okay.
Ah. Okay, this should work now.
Do it.
Yes, okay.
Yay!
So,
all right, cool.
I have a graph traversal source. Ooh.
So theoretically, you should be able to now
Wait a
execute
minute.
a traversal.
Wait a minute.
Theoretically.
Okay, I saw something here. So, you see this?
Yeah. Yeah.
So
If you
I just
don't-
passed
yeah,
it a session, but I think I have to pass it the actual name
Yeah,
of
because
the
at some
graph.
point, that's right. If you're gonna execute a traversal, at some point you do have to tell it which graph you want. But you know, that's actually interesting. I don't know this off the top of my head, but I wonder if there is a way that you could do something similar to what you would do with your regular session against Cassandra, right? Because I can just fully qualify my key spaces when I'm issuing queries without specifying it. I don't know if it's the same there.
Okay, so the name of the graph is Killrvideo underscore video underscore recommendations.
Yes.
I wish I could copy that name.
Yes.
You may have detected this in watching me so far, but I am lazy. Okay, so when it comes to typing, I suppose. I wonder if I've already... the graph
Can you
name?
just
Can I?
or,
Let me see. It says the traversal source.
You know, I'd be surprised if there wasn't some
Remote graph connection.
method
remote
in
factory.
G.
Yeah, to set it.
Yeah.
Huh. Okay, so then that's what the DSC graph is. Module data graph page. So that I need that class DSE graph. There's
Yeah, so Moran 2012, by the
attributes.
way, is asking the graph should have
see
no
it.
entries, right? Since we haven't added any nodes, and that's right. That's right. I believe, Jeff, correct me if I'm wrong, but we just created it with the Bootstrap originally, but we have not interacted with the graph or
No, there's
sent any
nothing
data
in
to the
it.
graph. We
Yeah,
haven't
there's
gotten
nothing in the graph.
There should be nothing in it.
Okay,
That's
I'm
right.
just I'm gonna override what I had previously here, which is like here. I'm just gonna do this. I'm gonna throw away the other graph that I created. Okay, I'm gonna create a new one,
Yeah, yeah. That's what you do.
and I'm gonna say I kind of like explicitly naming things, so I'm just gonna say graph underscore name, not leave it to chance, right? graph underscore name equals Killrvideo underscore video underscore recommendations. Right, that was the name. Let's see if we see what we get.
Video recommendations. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, so no complaints. And I'm just that's a. It still says empty, but
it does that.
I
The
don't know what
driver
that
in Java
means.
does the same thing.
What does empty refer to?
I have no idea why it does that.
Maybe it's an empty traversal
as well. Could be.
Okay. All right. Next step. I could actually do this. Print g.v value map to list.
Yes, you could.
That would be, if I understand my gremlin right, that means I'm just printing all the vertexes. So it should be empty. Let's find out. Whoa! Okay.
Oh, I know what it's telling. Yeah, so if you notice at the very bottom, what it told you there, this is actually kind of fun. I'm glad that happened. Go all the way down.
If you're glad, then I'm glad.
Yeah, you see where it's saying invalid query, a full scan on vertices label tag. So it says at the very bottom, alternatively, if in development, enable graph. So you remember, or enable graph scan.
Oh,
so
yeah.
remember in Studio?
Yeah.
Yes. So this is that part where in a real production system, or even in development, right? Like I'm just starting out. We're just starting out. Go ahead and turn on development mode. But the second you learn how to do your first traversal, I'm of the mind that you should turn that back off, because in order to use your graph properly in a production setting, there are indexes and such to create and everything like that. If you turn this on and you enable scan mode, it'll work. But it could also, as it's telling you right there, you could also cause a case that will cause full table scans across all your nodes and all sorts of stuff.
Yeah, I don't want that. Well, I just wanted to write a simple query that was going to do something. But, I mean, this is the correct response because the graph is in production mode.
That's right. And it even says at the end, graph
successful
test. Not suitable for anything other than toy graphs. Yeah.
Error achieved.
So yeah, driver. So if you go to Studio, those the settings that you need are there. And you can just execute those. I bet you if we then rerun this traversal, it should be okay after you do this.
Okay, this is good.
I think it's at the bottom. I think those are at the bottom.
The graph, that's right, because there's a massive list of stuff in here. Weren't the graph commands about halfway down?
In there. I think it's like close to the bottom, I want to say.
I don't think so. I think it's here. Isn't this it?
That guy. Yep, that's the one. Development true, fall. Yeah, that guy. Allow scan true. Yep. And just hit the whole cell.
What did I do wrong?
I
thought I did. Did I do something wrong?
You did. No, you did it. You did it. It's executing. Yeah, it just takes a moment.
Yeah.
It's always fun to tell out your system log of your nodes to see what it's doing when it does this. By the way, when I was originally developing this, these two cells were the most useful thing.
Your go-to?
Yeah. Because sometimes, it is, I'll admit, sometimes you're trying to write a traversal, you haven't quite figured out the indexing, you haven't actually figured out the traversal yet. That's the key thing.
Yeah.
You're trying to figure out the traversal, and you need to get to a point where you can do that, and then once you get your traversal, then you need to, figure out how to do it properly, if you will. There you go.
Okay,
boom.
so it worked. Okay.
So go ahead and try it now. Try rerunning it.
Okay, I'm going to run it again. And empty result set.
That's right.
Success.
Cool.
Again. Okay. Awesome. So now we have a traversal source.
Yeah. Yeah, you've got that set. So you could now
let's add a user.
You could write a traversal to add something if you want.
Let's do it. Let's write a traversal to add a user.
Yeah. I mean, because there was in the documentation they had a simple add. Why not? We could just grab it. Or did I have any in here? I can't remember if I had any.
You mean in this notebook?
Yeah. I don't remember if I had any in here. I have
that's has
user.
user. No, I'm only seeing...
If you scroll down, I might have
put
something there in the bottom. We got a Moran 2012 is yippee.
The giggle has arrived.
Yeah.
Do you know that? It's spring break. Kids are home from school. Are you familiar with this term?
Yeah.
Like a flock of geese, a pride of lions, a giggle of little girls.
That's
I didn't know if you knew that. That's my
I've never
official
heard of that,
terminology.
but that's just it's wonderful. So wonderful.
All right.
All right, so I guess you're not finding anything useful. I mean, the docs did have something. We could just plop something.
Yeah. I was going to start there before you said that.
Yeah.
Before you interrupted me. I was totally going to.
Sorry.
Okay. I had this other page, though, that was actually, I had a really good snippet, but that's fine. Should I try to do that with something that...
Yeah, you can honestly, I mean, since this is a toy graph at the moment, you could just put in whatever. And even if you put in a vertex or something that doesn't exist in the Killrvideo one, it doesn't matter. It's not going to really interact with it. And...
Oh, yeah, look. Okay, these are the things, right? Go. But there was something like at the top of the page that was very simple.
Wow, where did that come? Where is that in the docs?
Yeah, this is the Python. This is the Python driver graph extensions or something like this.
They're using the movie. They're using the movie version. For a second there, I thought that they had someone went and created the stuff from Killrvideo. I thought that was going to be awesome.
Oh yeah,
you could technically then take all of this and just plop it in if you wanted to.
Right. Okay, but I'm just going to go back and forth and do this a little bit at a time. So g.add v, and then I'm adding a user. Dot. Oh, I got to look at the schema.
Oh, you're actually going to try to do it for real per the schema. I see what you're doing.
Yeah. So user has properties of added, date, and email. Oh, I see. It has ID properties of a user ID, which is UUID. Here, this looks great. There's a user ID.
Yeah, just use it. Why not? I mean, as a UUID works. So.
Please try this at home. Randomly selected UUID. Okay. Wait. So if it's an ID property, that means it's required, right?
I believe so.
User ID. Okay.
I believe so. You're getting into my cobwebs that I don't remember 100%. I've got to have. I'm now curious.
Dot property. Oh, there it is. Does a UUID have to be enclosed in quotes? I think it does, right?
Have a look at my examples.
Okay. I think I saw it in your examples that way. So it's dot property user ID like this, and then that, and I'm gonna add another property, which is what other property do I want to add? Schema.
Email, name, was it? What did I have in there? I forgot.
Added date and email.
That's right.
Added underscore date and email. That doesn't look like it's required. I'm just going to add an email, and let's just see if we can, just for purposes of being done with it. Email.
Now, interestingly, what you're doing right here is stuff that would be done in the DSL, right? So all that stuff would be defined there.
Right. And then what else do I need to have at the end of this?
Probably a semicolon.
What is this dot next?
Oh, right. I believe that's going to cause it to iterate. Yeah, you probably want to put that in there.
Okay.
If you want a real answer, though, we should probably look that up.
We should probably look it up.
But but .next, I believe you want to do that. Yeah.
The period twice. All right, drum roll. I think it worked.
It may have. Now, you want to do something fun? Go into Studio.
Yeah.
And just go do a G.V since we were in development mode.
Yeah.
I think I actually have that in one of the cells, and you'll see it show up in the graph.
Okay. That's the point. By that point, you already have the...
I'm pretty sure I have a G.V in there somewhere. It's the sampling one. Keep going. You could use that one too, but there you go, right there.
Here we go. So execute this guy.
Yeah. You have like one little guy in there. Be like, oh, so cute. You could even take the sample off. There you are. That's funny.
Yes.
Yep. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So this is great. All right. So now we have a user in the graph. What should I do next? Actually, do you want to? Should I keep prototyping out the?
Well,
I know what I'm gonna do.
If I were doing this,
I know what I'm gonna do.
I would.
Let's write some code.
Fill out that the user add method, right?
Yeah, exactly. Let's do it.
Because you got the stuff there, and then we can actually make it work with the code. And then you got the plumbing, and the rest of it's just rinse and repeat.
Is there a quick way to get history of commands in a Python console?
Anyone? I have
no idea. Again, in the interest of being lazy.
Hooray!
Oh, not the history of Python.
You thought you were going to come here and watch some code, but no, we're actually...
Master of the obvious. How do you see the entire command history?
The history of Python and you.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, Stack Overflow. Oh, okay. That makes it look like it's very simple. Like, no. Ah, really? Maybe I don't know what I'm doing. That's I'm not doing IPython. Oh.
Oh, interesting.
Should I do this? Let's find out. Cutting and pasting random code that I get from the internet.
Oh, it looks like Moran 2012 has given it to us. Take a look in the chat. Readline.get_history_item.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I ended up doing. Yeah. Pretty much. I don't know if it's exactly what she said, but thanks, Amanda.
This is the shorter version.
All right. Okay, so I've already had a cluster. I already have a session at this point, so I don't need that stuff. What I do need here is this. Oh, but we figured out that wasn't the right thing. This is the line that I need. Okay, so I'm going to go into my suggested videos service.
Adrian Hall says the best thing to do is to execute code off the internet, especially the rando code.
Just cut and paste it. Just cut and paste it. Just go with it.
This is what we've devolved into.
I don't know what sort of
gone
claims.
are the days are of man pages and O'Reilly books.
Okay, so I'm going to think that I need a self.g. I'm going to save off a variable here so that I always have it, right? I need a traversal source. Equals. Okay, so I have this.
So here's a question for you. Can I offer a question or critique something right off the bat?
Yeah. You can.
So you're putting...
I'm going to do my import while you're shredding me.
Yeah. You're creating G, though. You're creating the reference G in suggested video service. The DSLs are not going to... Well, let's see. That's within that class. The question I have is, do you really want to specify that there or allow G to be accessible from anywhere in your app? Because there could be... does it hurt to set it up wherever else you're setting up your cluster, because you're already going to have your cluster and session objects somewhere else in the code. Why not just put your
well, that's
instantiation
a great point. However, this is the only service that is using Graph. So maybe if at some point in the future I had other services that were using Graph, then perhaps I would refactor at that point. I feel pretty comfortable right now keeping it local to this class.
Okay. It's your code, man. It's your code, Jeff.
And besides, we can always change it later. Okay, so handle user created. I have a handle user created self, user ID, first name, last name, email. Got it. So, okay, so then I have my code here, right? So I'm going to copy this.
Yeah, at that point, that's just a copy and replace your hard-coded stuff with the parameters coming in.
Oh, watch me work. Okay, g.add v user, and then I'm going to go property user ID, user ID. Oop. Come on.
Just seems so like.
Okay, are you like a dot property kind of guy, or the dot goes at the when you're doing the fluent style? There's like a religious war about this. Where does the dot go?
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with this for right now.
I'm more of the type who will put the dot like how you have it now.
Okay. Cool. Okay, so user ID.
So you did both. Nice. Nice.
Oh wait, so actually it looks like our schema doesn't, if I remember correctly, our schema doesn't use first name.
That's somewhere else, right? That's somewhere else. Now, where did you get that from?
ID. So all I need is an ID, an email.
Email and times. Well, yeah, the times.
Oh wait, you don't have to look. That's a circular reasoning. Okay, that was stupid. I can't look at that data that I entered to get the list of what the attributes are.
Yeah, I'm not sure what is up with your local studio, man. Maybe just refresh the page. I don't understand the notebook. I don't understand why you're having a difficult time with the schema view there.
I'm taxing all the resources that I have in every way possible.
Oh, that's right. I forget. You've got all the stuff running in it.
I've got a bunch of stuff running in Docker, and I'm running OBS to stream stuff, and it's all
OBS
just not
does.
very happy.
I tell you, OBS, whatever it has to do, apparently, it really on my box.
You know what? Here's my secondary cheat. Where's that? Where's my Killrvideo Java source code? Right, because here's my Java code, and I was adding the Killrvideo traversal. User. Oh, maybe that's not a good path to take. Okay. I know it had email and timestamp. I know it had user ID, email, and timestamp. So I'm going to go with that for the moment and not get too hung up on things. Mm-hmm. Okay, so email is email. And then I'm going to go this guy again. User ID, email, timestamp. Now, I wonder if this timestamp, if I'm going to get in a situation here where I need a... I guess we could just run it and see how it breaks. Yeah, but what type is it? This is where I get the heartburn with lack of strong typing, and I get all kind of second guessing myself.
Mm-hmm. You know, I don't remember how I handled that in the Java world, but I do remember that it was handled. Here. I just don't remember how I did it.
Okay, so I know that maybe it'll just do it in a way that makes sense. Because
you need a dot for your next.
Dot next. Got it. Okay, that's what it was. All right, so let's see. In order to actually test this out, I'm going to need...
Did you already create your cluster object in here in the code? You did it in the console. I can't remember if you did it in the code.
Yeah, it's in the. This is part of the larger application. So this is the main function for the whole application. This init. So
so you've already got that all hooked up.
that's already all hooked up. This is already
cool.
like
Okay,
storing
okay.
data, and the Kafka is running supposedly, and there's a whole bunch of stuff that I presume is just working right now. I'm just adding this
I see.
service and working on this service implementation. So
I see.
Yeah.
Oh, and by the way, Adrian Hall is asking heartburn with or without strong typing. That's what you were referring to.
I have a heartburn. I like the guardrails of strong typing. I like it when my IDE knows what the type of something is supposed to be and tells me when I'm screwing up. When I don't have that feedback loop, I just get. This is the reason that I have the same lack of comfort in JavaScript as well. So
Okay, yeah.
when I was a boy, we had strong typing and we liked it.
No, I'm with you. I haven't really coded a lot of JavaScript recently in the recent years, but in days past in my previous life as a full-time developer, I did plenty of that, and you could
Yeah.
get yourself in some hairy messes in JavaScript
Yeah.
if you weren't careful.
So, okay, so I have some code here that I'm actually going to try to run. The interesting thing about this is I haven't done a lot of unit testing. I'm going to editorialize for 1 second here. I did a blog post about this where basically like I just used, for all my testing of the work I've done in this app so far, I basically just ran the integration tests, and the integration tests kind of build up. They work in an order that makes sense. They start adding users, and then once users are added, they test that you can get the user back, and then they add videos and test that you can get the video back. And then now that we have users and videos, we have users can rate videos, and so we do that, and then adding comments and so on and so forth. So this whole suite runs, and it just builds up all this stuff. And I would basically just like make each successive test work, write enough code to make the next test work.
Right.
So I'm going to try this now. I haven't run the integration test in a while, but I think I'm just going to go for it.
Well, interestingly, if it works, then it's going to end up creating a bunch of users. Is that what you're after?
It's good. Yeah, the floodgates are going to open, and stuff's going to start happening.
Nice.
The other thing, I'm thinking of things that I just don't know. Like, for example, the integration test is, it does a truncate on the database before each test run. So I'm going to lose the question actually I don't know the answer to is, am I going to lose my user? Because I know it truncates the Cassandra tables. I don't remember if it's set up to truncate the graph.
I don't remember ever adding
If
any.
you didn't add it, I'm
into
sure
the graph.
Dweehai didn't, because the graph didn't exist when he wrote the integration test.
That's right. Yeah. So it's probably not.
I
so
may
that
not
actually
lose
could end up-
anything.
That could end up in an interesting scenario because, in this current version of Graph.
Okay,
when
let's just find out.
you create the graph, you're going to create new.
Yeah.
It creates new key spaces, right? So it's going to
Okay.
have its data in there separate from the core Cassandra table.
So I'm not even running my services yet, but now I will.
Dun, dun, dun.
Hey everybody, look at me, Python 2.7. Look at me in my Python.
Is that like the
2.7.
latest one or something?
No.
Is that
No,
significant
it's
because it's really old, or
It's not Python 3. So Amanda and I are talking about converting.
already behind?
Upgrading this
Already
to Python 3. Well, it was easy. I mean, Python, look, on my Mac, Python 2.7 is what it came with. So I figured they must know, right? Oh, yeah, I'm severely resource constrained here. You can see how long this thing is.
Yeah,
I started this a
and
while
Moran
ago.
2012 saying, "Ooh, Python versions."
Boom. There's a lot. There's a lot of stuff not happening right now. Or maybe it is happening and you just can't see it. Because we're not getting any output.
You should put up a little monitor, a little metric with your CPU usage.
Oh, yeah, I could have that somewhere.
I did something for the longest time.
Oh, here we
that
go.
was just dumb. Oh, did it go? Did it go?
Yeah, it's running.
Okay.
It actually looks like stuff is happening.
Yeah. Okay. And you've got the integration test going, so it's going to be creating a
Oh,
bunch of
yeah,
stuff.
so this gets to a complaint that I have. I should probably get more fine-grained in my logging settings. I had Kafka debug logging on while I was running,
Oh.
doing that
Oh.
the integration, and I don't actually
Yeah.
think I've turned that off yet. And it
I'm
is.
noticing
Let
a
me
lot of
say it
Kafka
is
debug
chatty.
bugs.
If you go
Well,
debug
hey,
log
you
level with
definitely know
Kafka,
it's doing something, right? You can
boy, do
definitely
you
see
ever
that.
know what's happening.
Yeah. Wow.
So I don't know.
That's actually pretty cool.
So the question is, how do I know that we're actually getting to the point of the source code that I
Well,
wanted to
if
get?
you want to do it, the real easy test is just go back to your graph and in Studio and refresh that g.v, see if anything else showed up.
That's good. We could
That's
work
like the dumb way to
backwards.
do it.
We could work
Yeah.
backwards from that. Yep.
I guess we could have put some
Okay.
logging in that method. We didn't put any logging in there.
Oh, that's true too. Yeah, it would just be swallowed in the sea of
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh, it's way down at the bottom again, yeah.
Okay. Wait a minute. Did I go
Yeah, one
past
of these
it?
days we have to do something with those analytics queries. I'd say keep going down because you're at the analytics. You
Oh.
could just search for g.v too if you really wanted to.
Okay. Good point. It's like I thought I had it where it was, you know.
We had to refresh the page, so you probably ended up going back up to the top.
Oh yeah, that's right. You're right.
It should be right below that. There it is.
But I
Do
don't
it.
actually. I don't know if anything will be running right now.
What do you mean?
I don't know if I have anything running right now that will actually be putting more users into the graph.
I thought the integration test was running.
I haven't run it. It's not.
Oh,
It's not configured
that's-
to run out. To run.
that's just Kafka being chatty? What's it chatting about at that point?
I didn't even look into that. I'll have to
Oh.
look.
see,
So
so DSE
here's what's
key.
running: DSE, etcd, Kafka, Registrator, Studio, Web, and Zookeeper. So there's nothing actually running right now that would be creating any user.
Oh, okay. Well, we could either use the integration test or
Or I could
turn
run the
on
generator.
The generator would do it.
Or
Yeah, it
I
would do
could
it.
manually create one.
Oh, I guess, yeah, that's right. If the UI is all hooked up. Hey, so we have a question over here from DSE Keith. Says, with recommendations in Graph, what is the plan for dealing with exponential branching? I have always wondered how to handle that. That's a great question for Denise or Dave Beckberger. I mean, like, you can control, though. I don't know if this is going to totally answer your question, DSE Keith. But you can limit, right? You can limit the traversals, and you can keep from branching out too far. And as a matter of fact, that's actually what we end up doing in Killrvideo. If you look at the recommendation engine traversal itself, it is pretty heavily limited to kind of constrain the amount of branches that you're looking at. But I don't know if it.
The videos
What's
you're
that?
looking for.
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
sorry.
I don't know, though, if that completely answers your question. Let me, you know what I'm going to do here, DSC Keith? I am going to ask this question internally and see if I can't get an answer while we happen to be streaming. So give me a moment.
Oh, I have to choose a password. Okay. I'm going to go with monkey. Or monkey123, because that's more secure.
That's great.
This is a joke for Security Now podcast listeners. Inside joke. Okay. Boom! My video is laggy. Super laggy, isn't it? Alright. Yep, I'm gonna have to turn this Kafka logging off because I don't actually know what happened in my application. It's still going great guns though. Let's go back to our graph.
Yeah, I would love to know at that point. It's just like...
Okay, note to self. Better debugging mojo.
Yeah.
This is not the way to debug. Well, it's a lazy way to debug.
We're being lazy and visual. Well, if you weren't on OBS with all the other stuff going too, it wouldn't take
I mean,
so long.
I'm swinging for the fences here, though. You know, like if it works, then we're in pretty awesome shape. So, nope. Sadly, no. Okay. I don't see any additional data in there.
And you did okay. So I'm sorry. What
Wait,
did you do?
I guess let's find out. Let's find out what this is.
Question.
Yeah, this is the
What
old
did
one
you
that
do
I
in
created.
the Yeah, what did you do in the UI? I missed that part.
I created a user. I went in. I literally
You
went
registered
into the
one?
Yeah, and then I registered a new user, and then now
Did
it's
you
showing
call
up
it
in the
David
UI.
Gilardi?
Yeah,
Okay, so
I did.
I see what you did. Okay, and it's not obviously in the graph. Okay.
it's a microaggression
I
against
see.
you.
Oh, that's okay. Yeah, maybe we should add some logging then in that method and see what happens there.
We should. Okay, this is a true story.
I like using the royal we when I'm not the one typing. It's my favorite thing.
The what?
The royal we when I'm not typing.
Yes,
You know what we should do? I think we should do this, Jeff.
but sometimes I could use a little bit of advice, coaching, etc. Man, there's a lot going on there. Why? I don't understand why that's. Is that my polling loop that's generating all that for the Kafka stuff?
Yeah, I'm not sure. It is very, very
It
chatty.
is a monstrous amount of logging. Okay, so I think the code were in the main function. Yeah. Okay, so if somebody knows a shortcut for this, I think there's a way to per package, right? I don't want Kafka debug logging on. I do want debug logging, I think, but
Oh, I see what you're asking.
I don't
yeah,
want.
I just don't know for
like,
Python.
you know what I'm saying? Okay,
Yeah,
so I need
anyone
to-
on the stream know for
I need to-
Python real quick? How
Otherwise,
to just set...
it's Stack Overflow time.
Let's copy more random code from Google. I know Adrian Hall was enjoying that earlier.
Mm-hmm.
I don't
Don't
know
we
which
all?
one's worse actually, copying the random code from whatever we find in Google, or just merely trying to figure things out by
Oh,
typing
Python
random phrases
3.72.
into
No, I don't
a
want that.
keyboard.
Guess I want the Python 2 documentation.
So Moran 2012 is saying, ask again. We're asking for any of our Python folks, if anyone off the top of their head, how to change the logging level for a specific package, not for the whole application. So we're trying to reduce the chattiness of Kafka without reducing the logging level from the whole app, if anyone knows. And Adrian Hall says yes to just pulling more random code from whatever we find from Google.
Thank you. I appreciate the support.
Yeah.
Logging
I
dot
like the
basic
idea. Just
config.
random code from Google, man.
And then it's almost like I want to have another level, which is logging get. Is it get logger? Logging
Get
dot
logger.
get logger. With a name. Logging dot get logger
there you go.
name. It kind of looks to me like I should be able to do get logging dot get logger, and then something like. Oh man, what's the name of that thing?
Okay, yet again, Moran 2012 with a block of code for you.
Kafka.
Did you find it?
I don't know.
I don't...
Where did I need to get to the? I'm not in the Twitch right now, so you may have to.
Here, I'll give you what she plopped in there. Or she or he or whatever. I keep calling her a she. Here, I'll put it in your chat. In the Blue Jeans. There you go.
Okay. Oh, in blue jeans. Do I want it in blue jeans?
Moran 2012 says it's easy for me. I'm not talking at the same time. Let's see.
Set level.
Oh, so
Yes, but I want specifically. So this is on the right track, but I specifically want the Kafka logger to not be set to debug. I'm going to set everything else to debug and then turn off. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to turn on debug logging for everything else, but I'm saying no to Kafka debug logging because it's so chatty.
Yeah, come on, Moran 2012. Where's that code? Let's get adversarial with our viewers.
We shouldn't do that.
Can't you add this piece of
Set
code
level
just in the Kafka service? Did you hear that? That was from around 2012. Can't you add this piece of code just in the Kafka service, and it will only change there?
I don't know because I have multiple places. Logging dot error. What are the levels? Darn it.
You're in. Oh, okay.
Is it like that?
Yeah, around 2012 is. You're in underscore init. Oh, okay. Right. Yeah. That's right. Moran 2012. Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna roll with this and see if this actually works. It's gonna take a while to get going. This is the part where we wait for a little while.
I can put on some music.
Good. Why did I know to do that? Here we go.
We need to have some fun hold music.
There's okay, stuff's happening here. It's much less chatty.
Hey, it is less chatty. Look at that. Hey, that looks a lot better, actually.
Okay, so I have this working application here. I'm gonna log out, and I'm gonna register a new user.
Oh, did you add logging to the user method? The user add method?
No.
Everyone, there's Jeff's emails right there. On the screen.
Stop it! Don't use it. This is why you shouldn't use. What does it say? So it looks like a lot of things would have already happened.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you can see there in plain text in the log. Okay. That's a great thing.
That's a really secure password. This reminds me of
gosh darn it,
Spaceballs. Have you ever seen Spaceballs where it's going through the password for the glow, the that they have like some kind of protective shield, if you will, around their planet, and he's finally given the password. And it's 1.
Okay, so there's some other work that goes on. The user management service is doing a couple of inserts into a couple different tables. All that's fine.
That's right.
And then we're firing off an event, which I don't actually see where I've done that. And then it's immediately coming back and asking for. No, I don't know that I see that. I don't see where it's actually doing the.
Okay.
The firing off of the event.
Oh, suggested video service get suggested for user. Okay, well that's different. Okay.
Yeah.
That's by default because you're on that page, right? Okay.
Yeah, it's already trying to load that, so nothing's going to happen. Okay. So yeah. So now I'm going to do what you suggested, David.
Put in the log statement there.
Yeah. This is not great dev practice either, but...
What, putting a log statement right in your code? Oh, you're printing. Why are you printing? Oh.
A logging statement?
Oh, God.
Not that? That's right.
You
I've
have a logger?
forgotten.
Use your logger.
I know I've forgotten. Okay, so hang on.
I'm guilty of it too, though.
Hang on, wait a minute. Okay, so
Moran 2012 says, "What's wrong with print? It's all I do."
all I do is print.
If you got a logger, use your logger. Use your logger.
Import logging.
You know what it really comes down to, Moran 2012, at least in my opinion. It's not that it's wrong. I totally use print statements sometimes too, but those things inevitably, there's always something somewhere that falls through the crack and it makes its way into your production code.
Do I not have any logging? Oh, here we go.
Moran 2012 says never. Never what? Never use print? Never? Or you're saying never to it's all I do? I feel like there's sarcasm there, but you need to put a hashtag sarcasm so we know. Otherwise, I'm taking you at face value.
All right.
All right, what you got? Oh, never use logger. That's funny. Let's see. And by the way, earlier, DSE Keith, I have not forgotten about your exponential branching question. I'm still trying to get an answer for you. And Moran 2012 validates my assertion that stuff makes it into production, and then states guilty. It's good that you can be upfront about that.
This is a safe place.
Yeah, it is. It's a safe space here. You can, put it all out there. Put it all out there. All right, I'm gonna ask you a question.
Oh, yeah, that's kind of ugly.
Beautiful so far.
I know. Look. You're like, what are you doing? Okay, I'll stop now. Pretty printing complete. Oh, what's that semicolon doing there? Huh. Okay.
Oh, do you not need a semicolon at the end of your statements in Python?
Yeah.
Or anything?
No.
Wow, that's weird.
No. Okay, I'm going to restart this guy.
Okay.
This is going to be our last thing. Restart this guy, add one more user, and see if it actually gets called. And see if we're actually getting
Do you have the generator on, or no, you're doing it through the
No,
UI.
I'm just doing a manual creation using the user interface. Look, there's Adrian wrong Hall way says, to eat Reese's, okay?
Adrian Hall says, semicolons keep attacking y'all while I keep forgetting M. Oh, keep forgetting M.
Yeah, I know. I was watching before, and he was getting all the hate, right?
Yeah, and then he says C# versus Python dilemmas.
So, I don't know.
Now that I think about it, I mean, I recognize that this is a reference app. I didn't realize that we were actually printing out the user passwords they use in the logout.
In a logging command?
That's really funny.
Yeah, okay, so let's scroll back up here because there's all this other stuff.
The user created.
And
user created.
All right, so I'm gonna have to debug this more because I'm not seeing in the
So is it not
output.
Getting there?
I don't know that it's getting there. I don't know that it's actually.
Did you search for handle user created?
I guess I can.
I mean, I'm with you. It doesn't look like it's there though, huh?
There's no reference to
Guess
handle.
not.
What I
Okay.
suspect is, let me see. Hang on.
Ooh. Hey, for DSC Keith, I'm getting an answer for your exponential branching question. I will be posting that here momentarily.
All right, let's find out. Here's my Kafka tool.
Alrighty, so let me.
Yeah, I don't think so. This whole thing is supposed to get triggered off in a message. I don't actually see any messages in the Kafka queue, so I think that something is breaking down upstream of here. So I'll have to go debug this and find out what's going on. But I'm pretty excited because I think like we have some code here for this operation and some debug code, and I think it will actually has a chance of working once we get to the point of being able to actually stimulate it via an event. And I guess I could just do like a unit test of that one isolated function. I could also try to do it that way. So maybe I'll experiment with that as well. So we'll come back. We'll try to get some time tomorrow and jump on and look at this some more.
Okay. Well, and before we jump off, right? So per DSC Keith's exponential branching question, right? So when I've hit up some of the graph people in the background, and we're having a conversation there. And so one question for you, DSC Keith, are you thinking about recommendation engines from a transactional or an OLAP standpoint, right? Are you trying to do real time or more from an analytics standpoint? Because that totally factors in, right? And if you notice here, in part of the text that I plopped in there, I just think recommendations aren't always answerable by graph alone. OLAP, okay. It takes building models and all the traditional tools. So part of reducing exponential branching is the data modeling for the recommendation and all the other work. So I think what they're getting at, and I'll get clarification, I think what they're getting at is that, as I understand it, I don't know if, Jeff, if you have any input on this as well. I know between like fraud detection recommendation engines, sometimes, depending on if you're talking about OLTP or OLAP, you'll see a combination. It might not just be using graph and graph alone. You might see some other OLAP stuff come in there, maybe some Spark usage, maybe data that's being stored, in just core Cassandra separate from the graph piece that are used in conjunction together. Let's see. Right. Yes, yeah. And so DSC Keith is saying pre-building the recommendations with tags or something similar will help in overall performance, a la Netflix. That's right. Yeah, I think that's where they're getting at. Hold on, let me... find a way. Okay, and let me grab some of the other... Yeah, and one of the guys here is actually, regarding OLAP, is saying that because the high EF and OLAP is much less problematic. I actually think, so DSC Keith, why don't you do this? Go ahead and send an email here to me, and we can have a more in-depth conversation with. I can try to get more meat to what you're asking and further that a little bit in an email chain or a thread or something like that. Matter of fact, we do. Jeff, you don't happen to know? I know we've got some Slack channels that people can talk to people on. I don't know what they are off the top of my head, though.
Well, we can research that and maybe bring it up next time.
Yeah. So DSC Keith, feel free to hit me up at david.gilardi@datastacks.com, and we can start a conversation there and try to get you some more info.
Okay. I'm going to sign off for today.
Yeah, Academy has a public Slack. Yeah. I mean, you could actually ask the question there too if you wanted to. It wouldn't hurt to hit us from multiple angles, but you can definitely hit me with the email and we'll talk. All right, cool.
All right. Thanks for joining us, everyone. We'll catch you tomorrow. Time TBD.
Alrighty. See ya.